Hey there, folks. This is Corey Babka. I do apologize if you're joining me live. I was a couple minutes late. I had some technical difficulties. What this tips and this is Salesforce tips. I realized the date and the time was wrong on the Google side. Again, I'm hoping that you're getting on this okay. And anyway, we're recording these as well, thanks to the Google Hangout on air way of doing things. Okay, so. What we're looking at today, this is the Salesforce tips and tricks. That what we do is we go over the tips from the previous month's blog, which would be the end of March, early April is when the tips got posted. Pretty soon this week we should have some new tips for Salesforce, and then the following month at the end of May we'll have the same type of webinar we're doing right now to get those tips up and running, and we'll go through those tips one by one. So the tips today are fairly easy to go through. It's not going to be that long a broadcast, to be honest with you. Not that I'm cutting it short on purpose, it's just sometimes there's not a whole lot to show. We're going to go over a couple of them today, which are the three that we're going to go over is the global pick lists, and we're also going to go over the relative data values, which I actually think is one of the more valuable pieces. And I'm always looking it up to figure out what the heck they are, because I always lose my mind and forget where I am. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, number one, we're going to go through the global pick lists. Okay, and so what we have to do, and this is actually right now, it's just available in the sandbox. I'm not sure exactly when it's coming out, when we have to enable it, but I keep checking to see when I can get it on mine. Some organizations may already have it. At this time in April, I do not have it in my production instance. I only have it in my sandbox. Okay, so if I'm on my sandbox here, I'm going to go to my setup, which is just like my name and then setup, and I'm going to search for pick list. Now, the thing is, what's different about this is it just lists itself as a pick list. It doesn't list itself as, normally we know pick lists as attached to fields within the Salesforce form. It would be a field if I wanted to create a field of states. Here's state and country pick list. If I wanted to pick a state, a status drop down in my, my group. If I look at my accounts, and I go here and I say, here's SmartVent, and I say they are a type, and I have my pick list here of analyst, competitor. These are all, I think, out of the box for the most part, but I have them as a customer. Okay, not a big deal. That's a pick list, right? So over here, though, what we have is what's called the global pick list. So if I go here, it's got this deleted global pick list. I don't know what this one is here, but there's nothing there. That's a view. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a new pick list, and this is going to be called, let's put it in as, oh, I don't know. What's my example in the tips? I'm going to create a new, we just made it as global pick list one. I'm going to do this and say, yeah, let's do it as a number of days, or say follow-up days. Okay? Say this is used to track the number of days follow-up with a client or a prospect or lead. Okay? And I say save. And I've got that there. Now it's going to ask me for my values, as it normally does. That's not a problem. So I'm just going to say 30, 60, 90, 120, 180. Okay? Not a big deal. Those are my list, my values. Okay? Looks like a typical pick list. You can reorder it, replace, do whatever you want. You can do chart colors if you want. That's fine as well. Okay? So nothing really going on here, but that's essentially, hate to say it, but that was tip number one. It was enabling the pick list and then creating one from there. Okay, so our next piece, though, it's the other part, is to go here and start saying, all right, now how do I use this data? Okay, so if I wanted to, I would say I would create a new field is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go to my accounts area. Okay, go to my accounts. And I sometimes, when I go into an account, this is what I do. It's just kind of a quick tip to get in there. You can always go into setup. I always do this edit layout on an account form, because right away on the left, as you can see, I'm already in the customize accounts, right? So if I go to my fields, this is where I need to be, right? I'm going to create a new field. right? And what I can do is choose a pick list from here, right? And this is where it's a little bit different. So now I can say number of days for follow-up. Okay? And we do this and we say use a global pick list. So I can say follow-up days. And now I've got it. Next. I don't have to worry about my 30, 60, 90, whatever it is. I'm going to show you how this actually works out. This is something, believe it or not, that Microsoft Dynamics has done for a long time. It's another one of the products that we do. They've had this for a long time. And my consultants on that side, on the Microsoft Dynamics, they always use global pick lists. Left and right, that's all they use. And I'm going to show you why. Okay. So we've got this here, that's in the account. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to customize my leads. Fields, new, do a new pick list again. And now, because of this, this is a new thing that I only have in my sandbox. If I do this here and I say number of days for follow-up, same thing, I'm going to use my follow-up days, and then I say next. Okay, and I save it. That's fine. So now I can go to my leads. And I can go to, let's do a new lead. And we have our follow-up fields. It should be right down in here somewhere. There it is, number of days. Oh, sorry, I always forget. They put it right at the top. 30, 60, 90, 120, 180, right? Not a big deal. Now I go to my accounts. New account. 30, 60, 90, 120, 180. Okay? Now what I'm going to do here, so that's what you can see. That was the account. That was the lead. I'm going to go to my setup again. I'm going to use this handy dandy recent items. And here's my follow-up days. It's the global pick list is what I want to edit. I'm going to add in a new value. And leave 15 and 45. Okay. Now I have to reorder these, of course. I'm going to move this all the way to the top. I'm going to move this all the way up to the top as well, and then down a couple. Okay, and now I've got my 15, 45, 60. Let's go to my account form again. I go new, 15 and 45 have been added. Okay, I go to my accounts, or my leads, new lead, 15, 45, 60. This is where it becomes valuable because you have the same field, the same pick list inside of the new lead and versus the account. So I only have to change it. Let's say you have an opportunity or you have accounts, you have prospect, whatever it is. The leads and accounts is a very popular one for this, that you put it in both places. Now, where it becomes a big deal is when I do this, and I go to my setup, and I go to my, let's customize my leads. Ignore that for right now. If I go into my, my custom fields, sorry, my fields for the leads, right? I have mapped my lead fields. And of course, what I can do is there should be number of follow-up. I can log this and do the same thing for number of days to follow up for the mapping. And I know that theirs are going to match. If I save those, right? If I save this mapping, I know that if I have 15 and 1 in the lead and then I put it over to the account and it converts and qualifies to an account, at that point, the account, the 15 will also match, will be okay. Now, we all know that Picklist, what does work differently in Salesforce is that any Picklist value over here, it will insert into the account, and it's fine. But you just can't reselect it unless we know that those choices are in sync. So think of it that way. Think about having your choices all be synchronized, one place to manage all your global pick lists. Because if I go here, and I go to Picklist, it always does that to me, right? I can manage all of my pick list values right here. Doesn't matter whether it's an account, a contact, and that can be very useful for your administrators to be able to do that and assign them to the forms that they need to be on and not have to maintain it, okay? And that's what we're looking at, right? The one thing I have noticed is that when I do go here, I can't really pick the values as to who sees what, right? If I look at this, we have default, but it doesn't show me the idea of who's got what. And I know that that's kind of important based on page layout. So it might be that if you're doing page layouts, and this is where, like I said, I'm still in the sandbox, I'm trying to feel this one out, you may have to limit it as to what you can do, okay, and where it goes. So, all right, so the other piece, and the more valuable one to me, I mean, so that's good, that's coming. Some of you, like I said, may have it. What I'm going to go into right now is what's called the relative data values, okay? So relative data values are, and I'm actually going to use my production instance for this. When I go into my opportunities, I do this a lot, where I say, all right, my closing this month, right? If I edit this view, we see things like this month, okay? And that's a big deal for that type of thing. It allows you to create rolling 60 days. I have one here in my account view that has, I used to have, like, you have new this week. Here's one. This says this week. So where are all those values, right? And what you end up with is, I actually have a link that on this blog tip that I did that you can bookmark it. But basically it's this page. I'm gonna make this one, you can see it. And then we've got my Salesforce over here, right? Okay, so what we have is this relative data. And if I scroll over so we can see it, you have all of these values, okay? And like I said, in the blog article that I wrote, I took a picture of this, and I also created a link to this page so you can bookmark it for future reference. But it's a help page that I use all the time, okay? And essentially what it does is I'm sorry, I'm just muting that beeping. I have another thing going on. Make sure you can still hear me in the microphone. Yep, good. So what we've got, and if there are any questions and you want to use the QA portion, just go ahead and write a question in the QA section, and I can see this even though you're kind of on a delay. But this Salesforce page that we're looking at right here, I mean, look at this, last N weeks, critical, right? So it's not this week, last week, or next week. It might be last 3 weeks, okay? So you would say, instead of new this week, I would say, let's go over to my Salesforce, and I could say created date equals last 3 weeks, something like that, okay? Now we're gonna have an issue, so I have to kind of do this, and I say or, right? So I'd say it was either this week or the last 3 weeks, okay? Save that. Now my view is a lot different, right? And you can see that the created date, I have this last activity in here, but there's a created date as well that will fall into that realm. This is what I love, because when I talk to sales reps and I say, you know what, you need to have something that says people that I haven't contacted in the last 60 days. Well, the way they used to do it, if they don't know better, they do things like the last activity is greater than or equal to, and they'll put in March 1st or January 1st, 2016. Well, that obviously gets stale within 3 days, right? But if you do last 90 days, let's go back to that form and show you where we've got. I've got N weeks ago, last month, next N months, last N months. I've got days, last 90 days, next 90 days. Okay, last quarter. All these values are very, very helpful for me anytime we're doing things. And these fiscal quarters is based on your fiscal quarter in the setup. Okay. But this is critical, I think, when you're doing views, okay? You can also use that when you're doing reports. If you're doing custom reports over here, and you have a sample report, let's say, right? Well, you've got a close date, right? Where you've got custom, right? Well, they've got certain values in here that are very similar, right? They actually try and help you out like last 90 days. Okay, and that's a rolling idea. Mm-hmm. But you can customize this. You know, you can do it that way, last 90 days, and then we can do other things. But see, I use it more in my views. Okay, my account views, my opportunities views, new this week. You know, customers, current accounts, you know, whatever it is, the newest accounts, right? These are ones in the last 5 months. See, we've got the same thing. I'm already using this. Greater or equal to last 5 months. which means it's going to start from 5 months ago and just give me all those records. If I go back to those accounts and I'm in that view, you can see newest accounts. It goes all the way back to, show 10 items, show 25 items. I go to the end. I think if I go to this one, it'll probably show me a create date somewhere. No, that's not working. That's not right. So, but that's what we're looking at. This view, newest account. Oh, that's all right. That's recent. I'm sorry, folks. If I go here, and I was looking at this last 5 months, I'm going to go. Here's my 22. If I go look at this one here, it was created 11/6. That's my last one I've got. Well, if that's true, 11/6 is that 5 months ago? Well, I believe so. Yeah, it's about right. But that's how this works. This is what I do. I do a lot of this work here. I find it very, very valuable. And like I said, I did bookmark that page, or I created that page for you. You can see it right here in the view, the custom dates. And I just do, you just do a search for relative dates in Salesforce and Google, and you'll get this page as well. But I bookmarked this one because I find it very, very helpful. Okay, that's about it for now. Just wanted to, thanks for coming by. Thanks for jumping in. I'll have this video posted as well up on our YouTube page by the end of the day. I'll have it unlocked, and you can watch it if you want to see something again. If I move too fast, I do apologize. It happens. Sometimes I jump around too fast. So in any case, I hope you have a good day, and we'll see you next month. Thank you.